Welcome back to High Ground MTG. I'm your co-host, Spiny Mouse, here with my other co-host, Hi Guy. How you doing, Kyle?
Hello.
What you got there for us? What you got there?
Well, I don't have any more. I threw it on the couch.
Oh,
it's the Nerf gun. We're here to talk about the giant nerfs that WotC has made to our favorite format, Modern,
and what nerfs they were. What nerfs
and what that means for the state of Modern.
For your favorite deck and mine.
Blue Moon, baby.
It's dead now.
Yeah, we don't have some choice cards anymore.
Yeah, but I also think so let's dive right into this. Let's dive right into this. So you all know what's happened, but we're gonna go through it because that's what you do as a host of a show. We have in Modern
our own show.
Our own show.
Yeah, that too.
Ta-da. Modern band announcements includes Field of the Dead, Mystic Sanctuary, Simian Spirit Guide, Tybalt's Trickery, and my personal favorite, Uro Titan of Nature's Wrath.
That's 5. Count them, 5 cards that have hit the ban.
Just going.
This time. Yeah.
4 to 5 very new cards, too. Simian Spirit Guide being the only weird one that's like a very old card that didn't make the cut this time.
Also, Tybalt's Trickery was only in Modern for like 10 days.
Seriously.
Probably the quickest I've ever seen a card banned.
Yep.
So overall, I think personally, I'm pretty jazzed about this announcement. There are some personal cards that I will miss greatly, a la Mystic Sanctuary, most of all. I didn't realize it, but it is in like every one of my blue control decks.
Well, you are our blue player.
It's very true. I went to go load up Moto, and I just every one of them had like an exclamation point. I was like, well, I got to figure out a card to replace Mystic Sanctuary. That's for sure. So it's been kind of a head scratcher. Trying to figure that out, but that and Simian Spirit Guide. I've toiled around with that. Mono Red Prison being a prime example of me liking to play that. But I don't know. I think overall it's going to be good for Modern.
For sure. I would say most of these bans, in some way or another, I would say, kind of allow Modern to slow down a little bit. Obviously Tybalt's Trickery, was kind of like a turn 1, turn 2 win.
As you've seen this week on my videos.
Yeah. Simian Spirit Guide allowing for those turn 1, turn 2 wins. So, and also fueling out quite a few other unfair style decks. And then, of course, you have the Mystic Sanctuary, Uro Titan, and Field of the Dead. And obviously, those are kind of slower cards in their own rights. However, I feel like those were the only cards you could play if you were playing a slower style deck and you wanted to win.
It's so funny that you say that because like we haven't seen mid-range exist since basically, because like once you get to the mid game, like you want to be playing things like Uro and Field of the Dead for that just inevitable, like we got to the late game, I can crush you with all of these cards versus like just good cards versus like hyper powerful cards that you have to be playing. So.
Right. When they were just cards you really had a hard time dealing with. Obviously, in Modern, there are ways to deal with lands, but they're not exactly everywhere. And like it is a non-zero cost to run them in your deck. If you're running Ghost Quarter, you're running Field of Ruins. Those do cost you something, and against the style of decks that Field of the Dead in and the Uro's in. That's not what you want to be doing. That is not good enough to stop them from doing what they were doing.
I think the biggest thing too is that it frees up slots. So like you want to be playing lands anyway. So you're gonna put those powerful lands. Like take Mystic Sanctuary for example.
Right.
I'll be the first to admit that I think the power of Snapcaster Mage dropped when Mystic Sanctuary came in because Mystic Sanctuary is arguably better than Snapcaster because you're returning it and it's safe and it's on top of your library and you can recur those instants and sorceries. Like, I just haven't seen Snapcaster. And I think I made a point of it in a video where I was playing and I was like, man, I haven't seen Old Boy Blue, like the Blue Bomber in Modern. So, and then I realized it's because it's Mystic Sanctuary.
Yeah.
Like, it just adds, like, I know you hate the card, but like being a fan of it, I think it just like it adds that, inevitability that, and it helps. So things like hand hate. So like if you take a look at that Temple's Trickery deck, like I was running 4 Mystic Sanctuaries in the deck because I was like, well, if I get hand hated, I can just bring it back to the top of my library and be able to cast it again. So like I've just completely negated a strategy. You know what I mean? And that's while doing what I want to do anyways, play lands. So I think that power level is just a little bit too,
Yeah, and Wizards has been printing a lot of effects on lands. That's kind of the territory they seem to be exploring a lot these days. We've got the modal lands, we've got things like Mystic Sanctuary, and all of the other ones that were similar to that, but none of them were quite as good as Mystic Sanctuary. And so they are playing around with that, and I think printing any sort of effect on a land can be potent just because it is a land. Like you said, you're going to put lands in your deck. Anywhere between 18 and 25 of them. Like you have to have those.
Right. I think the biggest thing too is like you said earlier, just interaction. Like main decks don't really have a way to interact with lands unless you're a specialized, like you said, like a Ghost Quarter or whatever. But like. There's no wasteland in Modern. There's no, what I mean? Like, there's no way that people were getting like severely punished, for playing these lands. So,
well, and with Field of the Dead and Mystic Sanctuary, especially too, like there wasn't really anything you could do about them once they hit the board, because they've already done what they were going to do. Like there's
no like counter ETB when a land hits, what I mean?
Right. I mean that effect does exist, but it's not something you put in every deck.
Yeah, and that's so narrow. Like who's gonna play that anyways? So. Yeah. I think for the overall health, like obviously people were doing cryptic loops, and I've been on the other end of that, and that sucks. But I definitely think Field of the Dead, especially that being gone, I'm more than satisfied. Like. It's just way too easy with fetch lands and being able to like fetch lands enabling that, being able to get like 7 different things. And it seems like a hard thing to like do, right? But it became so easy. So
yeah. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think one of the main mistakes was putting the keyword island onto that. Like if it had not been fetchable, I think it could have seen play, but wouldn't have been broken. You know what I mean?
It made it so good, though.
It did. Well, that was the problem.
We need to unban Mystic Sanctuary now. I'm calling for it.
Never.
Bring it
back. Keep that out of here. We don't want that.
Yeah. The Mana Monkey. How about that, huh?
Dodging bullets in Modern for a long time now.
Long time back when I think Wizards is really leaning pretty hard that they don't want fast mana in Modern anymore. We don't have Opal. We don't have we don't have Simian Spirit Guide. I honestly would think I would watch out for Gemstone Caverns. That was my other thought. I was like, what's another way that you can abuse it? Like
Gemstone and Manamorphose. Those are on my watch list. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, obviously turn 1 Blood Moon's not going to happen anymore. Or turn 1 Chandra Torch of Defiance.
Yes.
I think it's overall like going to be healthy, and I think like decks will either have to tweak themselves that we're using that like as a staple to survive. I think it's better, like just in the sense that like. Simian Spirit, like you can still get Chalice turn 1 if you're on the draw, like with Gemstone Caverns or whatever. So I don't think like Mono Red Prison's dead.
No.
But we'll see. Ad nauseum players, I guess, were in quite the tizzy that
I'm sure
Spirit Guide was gone. But
yeah, that hurts for sure. But like I said, I think the idea behind this was to give Modern a chance to slow down, because like the Uro deck kind of forced you to either play Uro yourself or play something so fast that they didn't get a chance to get to Uro, and that was kind of your only chance.
Yeah, and that's how we saw the rise of like the prowess decks and the blitz deck. Like I think that was a direct answer to Uro decks. You know.
Yeah, and the decks that would prey on those decks, like things like Jund or anything with heavy removal, just couldn't stand up to Uro. Like that was just real bad.
Crushed. Yeah, and so obviously Uro being out of Modern, Field of the Dead, like I think this opens up the the gates again for mid range to make a big comeback. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw 5-0 Jund lists happening. People are pretty keen on on that deck. So
it's an expensive deck once you buy it.
Yeah, it's not like people haven't been working on it like throughout. But I think being able to be a mid-range deck and have that power will definitely see a rise on that, at least, because I was already seeing Rakdos like mid-range making its way up the top with Blood Moon and all this sort of stuff. So
absolutely,
I think it'll be good. I think Control also, just kind of like traditional Control, might be able to make its way back to the forefront of Modern. So
for sure, and they potentially got some new toys in this last set that didn't get banned. So what deck are you most excited to play with now that these bans have happened? What's a deck you haven't been able to play that you are just ready to jump back in?
I think the biggest thing for me is, I love Blue Moon. I just like it just was too slow. Like having a turn 3, like you just like, and you can't play Uro in that deck. Like, I think it'd be really fun to explore that again with everything happening. I've said it once or twice on this channel. I'm a big fan of Bone Crusher Giant, so getting that into the deck and kind of seeing that. I also think that a Tron making its way back to the metagame will be nice to see that. I obviously am a filthy Tron player here, but I think that will be really fun to play again too. Turn 3 Karn definitely doesn't seem like the most broken thing that you can
do. These days. Not these days.
if anything, it sounds fair. So
right.
So it'll be nice. I'm hoping that Modern kind of gets back to that like rock paper scissors, like, and you just kind of, I think Humans also like a good aggro. It's always around, and I think Humans has a good shot at like they've picked up some toys with Skyclave Apparition and Realm Walker over the past and we're going to Strixhaven. We'll see what's on that plane and what kind of humans and stuff. So I'd be very interested to see those kinds of decks. But for me, definitely, I really want to jump into Blue Moon and see what that's like.
Absolutely.
What about you?
Absolutely. Oh man, I haven't. Well, I was going to say I haven't played the Yorion deck in a while, but I don't know if that's actually true or if I just miss playing it. But Yorion is always super fun. I love playing 75 cards in my main board. It just feels great. Or 80, I suppose. I'm always into Death and Taxes, and I think that can definitely flourish in the current meta too. Especially if things like Tron are making a comeback as well. D&T can prey on Tron a little bit and kind of climb up there. So, and we also have gotten a few other pieces here and there that people have been wanting to try out, but just couldn't compete with Uro. So I think, as always, D&T coming back.
I think it's Crox's time to shine. That's the next one to get banned. Mark my words. So, calling it here.
Rakdos, Skelementals, something.
Ooh, that'll be fun to revisit too.
Yeah, for sure.
Gotta get back on that.
Now that you can actually make people discard things and it matters.
Yeah, it's really funny how how that's going to be important now. Like I said, I feel like watch out for Jund players, because I feel like it'll be their time to. I know I'll probably be piloting it here and there.
Yeah, so you can actually play Liliana and not get laughed at now.
That's right. That's right. She's worth some money again. So,
Oh yeah.
obviously Tybalt's Trickery is gone. We kind of talked about that. We've seen how stupid that card was with
Yep.
just being able to self-enable combos. So I think it's really smart of WotC to just get rid of it right away, not have to worry about it, not have to have people fetter and be like, yeah, no. So
yeah. Do you think this is something we're going to see a lot more of going forward? Do you think like Wizards is going to take this kind of quick-handed approach to things that break Modern when they're putting into Standard?
I don't think so. Just the way, because like you have to think about it, Uro was in the metagame for at least a year, right? And Mystic Sanctuary and feel like all these cards were there. I just don't think WotC was paying attention to the metagame, or they just didn't care, because maybe didn't care isn't the right words, but like because it just took so long, because I think their focuses were Arena and other places. So it was kind of like all right, let's go in, let's listen to the community, let's figure out what's being detrimental, and let's just do everything in one fell swoop. And I saw Tybalt's Trickery, and they're just like, you know what? That's not what we want, and that's not how, we're trying to slow things down, so let's just... So my guess is no, they'll react accordingly. I just think that Tybalt's Trickery just kind of was the wrong place, wrong time sort of thing. So
sure. Well, it also like kind of does things that you weren't supposed to be able to do, like Uro and Field and Sanctuary are all doing things. They're not necessarily doing a new thing; they're doing the thing much better than any other thing has ever done. But they weren't necessarily doing a new thing. While Tybalt's Trickery, kind of, I don't know if R&D just didn't see it, or they just didn't care and they knew they were going to ban this out of Modern anyways. But obviously, like it does something that it wasn't supposed to do.
Right. I just feel like R&D doesn't focus on older formats. It's mainly Standard. Yeah. So, which is totally fair. Like, kind of like the idea that we get busted things. Yeah, we get busted things and we get to do, because I tell you, that league was fun. Like, I feel good. I feel good that I got to play the deck like in the tiny itty bitty little window that we had. I will say I had quite the blast playing with 2 banned cards. By the way.
I know.
Mystic Sanctuary in the deck as well. So dumb, but so much fun. So, but yeah, you'll see in one of the games, opponent scoops after like the first game. The video is like 4 minutes long, and the opponent, like, I'm in the middle of sideboarding, and you win the match. So obviously,
just didn't even want to. Just didn't even want to mess with it.
Yeah, obviously, people don't want to play against that nonsense. So I guess the biggest question is, do all these bans fix Modern? Is Modern, or when Strixhaven comes out, is Modern just going to be completely broken again? Like,
it's hard to say.
Are we looking at a good, healthy, diverse metagame for Modern?
I will say that I'm excited to see what this new Modern looks like, and what kind of shakes out. Because we got so many new cards in Kaldheim that just like you kind of just compared them. Yeah, you kind of just compared them to Uro, and you're like, well, this doesn't stop an Uro. It can't go in the Uro deck, so I guess it doesn't do anything. And so now I think we get a chance to actually reevaluate all of those cards and be like, okay,
hello,
actually fit into. Yes. Modern Giants. I'm sure that'll be the next video.
Don't count on it. I tried. I still needs a lot of work. You'll see Grixis Dragons before you see.
There we go. But I think we get to reevaluate. Like, what are these cards actually gonna do in this new Modern? Because 5 cards is a lot to ban out of a format. I think,
and I think you're right. I think I had a stroke. Sorry.
That thought was banned.
Yeah, that's how much the hammer's coming down. You were saying?
Yeah, I mean, Modern. Pioneer also got 5 bans. But that's Pioneer. Modern got 5 bans, and that's a lot. That's I don't think any of those bans were incorrect, but it is a lot. It's more than the usual. Usually it's 1, maybe 2 cards that kind of get get tossed out. But this is 5 cards, so it's really going to shake up the meta. And obviously, like 4 out of those 5 cards were all played in the same deck.
Could have made a deck with all 5 of them, I'm sure.
You could have. You really could have, I'm sure. I do know that some people were trying to play Tybalt's Trickery with Uro decks. I don't know how that works, but it was a thing that people were going to try, because why not, you know? I mean, I guess, you know, Tybalt's Trickery into Uro is certainly not as good as, you know, an Eldrazi Titan, but it's still pretty good.
I just like the idea that, like, this ultra, like, 5-color good stuff deck is basically obliterated out of Modern.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't think that is fair. I don't think that, like, unless you're playing 5-color humans, but like, or 5-color elementals or 5-color sliver. You know, if you're playing a 5-color tribal deck, I think that's okay.
There you go.
But like, you shouldn't just be able to play like there should be a cost to it. So I think having this like deck get obliterated out of the format, I hope we see the rise of old archetypes, people who love their decks or who have been devoted to them forever. Like, you know, they get a chance to get to play. My other question for you too is, you know, obviously neither of us played Uro or Field of the Dead decks, mainly because I never wanted to buy into them because I knew, like, I almost bought into Field of the Dead, but like I never wanted to buy into Uro because I just knew it was going to get banned at some point.
Oh yeah.
Like, and Tybalt's Trickery, like, I bought into that, but it was really cheap. Like, but if it had been more expensive, I think I'd be a lot more upset. Like, financially, like, you know, is this good? Is this healthy that they're just, you know, like, because people lose literally an entire deck. Like, is it good? Is it bad? Like, you know, I think what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, bans suck, right? Like, it's not fun to have your deck banned out from under you, especially when you're right. Like that 5-color deck probably just doesn't exist anymore. Maybe it's a 3-color deck, maybe it's a 4-color deck. Yeah, but I don't think they can do everything anymore. Which, yeah, like you said, is probably a good thing. But yeah, there is a cost to banning things, and that's people lose their whole deck, you know, and that sucks, and that can make people leave Magic.
Especially if they have these things in paper. Like, we're only playing digital right now, but I was playing in paper and like, oh my gosh,
Uro was expensive.
Like, thinking like, oh, I could play these like once, you know, things kind of settle back. But
and I don't know, you know, what Wizards can do about that. Like, obviously they're not going to offer like a paper buyback program. Like, that's probably just never a thing that's going to happen. I think that they could do something like that digitally. Obviously I don't think you're going to get like your 100 ticks for your Uros or whatever in exchange for it getting banned, but something, you know, would be nice for those players who lost out their entire deck. You know,
part of me is like, I think when you buy into like the top tier deck, some part of you, like, especially modern players, like I feel like modern players are maybe a little bit more invested and they kind of have a spikier attitude. You should have some kind of awareness that like, oh, there's a possibility that I could lose out on this. True story. I literally bought into Arclight Phoenix when I made my Moto account. I bought into Arclight Phoenix, made my Moto account, bought into Arclight Phoenix on a Friday. That Monday they banned Faithless Looting. Completely lost. Completely lost the whole deck. I was like, well, so I guess you just take the, I don't know, you just kind of take the L and kind of, it's weird because it's like there are some staples I still think that you should buy, and other cards that just pick up whenever. Like, obviously fetch lands. Like, as long as you have fetch lands, I think that's, you know, that's still a majority of the cost of decks these days. But then there's loan programs too. I would honestly just like get your bases and you know, buy into one deck that you know that you're just gonna play over and over and use a loan program.
Yep. Agreed. Especially, you know, until we can actually play real things with paper. It just seems like a smarter play.
Or buy Merfolk, because nothing's gonna get banned out of that deck.
I don't know. There's that token producer. He could get Master Wave. Master Wiz
And
could get the axe.
Then your opponent plays Plague Engineer.
Shout out to Saffron Olive for that one. Yep.
Good. Well, I think Modern's in a good place, and I'm excited to see the decks that we jump into. Expect some old familiars. I imagine I'll play Jund, maybe Blue Moon, who knows? And I'm sure you'll be playing some D&T and
Naturally.
Lord knows what else.
Naturally. So. If you have ideas for what decks you want to see us try out, don't forget to leave them in the comments down below. And while you're down there leaving your ideas, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It really helps. Makes us feel loved.
That's right.
It was just Valentine's Day, so we need all the love that we can get.
Don't cut this out. All right, everybody.
Gotta get the awkward silence in there to, really make it settle in a little bit.
Click that like button. All right. Share with your friends. All right, bye-bye from the Kai Guy.
Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you for watching High Ground MTG with co-hosts Kai Guy and Spiny Mouse. If you enjoyed the content, please be sure to click that like button, and if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out on future episodes of High Ground MTG. For even more videos, be sure to check out our playlists so that you can have the high ground.